Chris Sewall here, baseball card collector, investor, dealer, in that order. Welcome everyone. Today we're going to count down the 20 most valuable baseball cards from the early 1970s, 1970 to 1974. I actually did this exact video about 18 months ago or so, but I just saw it the other day, and man, it is way outdated in terms of card value, so figured it was time for a remake, redo, an overhaul, whatever you want to call it. Rules for this list are we're going to use the average of recent sales in a PSA 7 to determine the ranking, but I'll show the value of the card in a number of different grades. Each player can only appear on the list once, otherwise the list would be entirely dominated by like 3 or 4 players, and we're only looking at the Topps base card, so no oddball brands and oddball sets and things like that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the top 20. Opening up the list at number 20 is a card from Terrific Tom Seaver, who is arguably the best pitcher in all the 1970s. That's certainly debatable, but surprisingly, he's one of only 3 pitchers who will appear on this top 20 list. Doesn't seem like there should be more than 3 pitchers here, but anyway, you're looking at his 1970, 1972, and his 1974 Topps cards. His most valuable card from this era is the 1971 Topps. You're going to see a lot of 1971 Topps on this list. PSA 7 is currently going for about $126. So if you look down at the bottom, the all-time record sale of this card in any grade was a PSA 10 that went for just under 30 grand. That was back in December of 2020. Coming in at number 19 is the first of 9 rookie cards that will appear on the list. 1974 Topps Dave Winfield rookie. Winfield's in the Hall of Fame, played most of his career with the Padres and the Yankees, a few other teams later on, and including won a World Series with the Toronto Blue Jays towards the end of his career. But his 1974 Topps sells for about $128 in a PSA 7, and one of the bargains on the list. Look at the value of the card in a PSA 5. That's a 50-year-old Hall of Fame rookie card. PSA 5 you can get for just $42. Number 18 is another Hall of Fame rookie card, this one of Carlton Fisk, a superstar catcher for the Boston Red Sox and later the Chicago White Sox. There you're looking at his 1973 and 1974 cards, like the action shot on the 74 Topps there. But his rookie card is 1972. He actually shares it with Cecil Cooper, also had a pretty meaningful career, but Carlton Fisk is really the driver of the value of this card. PSA 7 is going for about $129, and you can see in back this past July, a PSA 10 approached 50 grand. Number 17 surprised me a little bit. It's our first non-Hall of Famer to make the list. It's a 1973 Topps Dwight Evans rookie, and the card also features Al Bunbury, who had a very significant career, but it's really, like the last card, it's really Dwight Evans here that's driving the value of this card. It's in the 1973 Topps High Number Series, which has become a little tougher to find in recent years, and PSA 7s of the card currently go for about $130. Number 16, sticking with rookie cards, but switching back to Hall of Famers. Bert Blyleven, who's the second of 3 pitchers to appear on the list, pitched most of his career with the Minnesota Twins, and he made the Hall of Fame somewhat recently. You're looking at his 1972, 73, and 74 Topps there. His rookie card is from 1971 Topps, and like I said, you'll see a lot of 1971 Topps on this list. A lot of that has to do with how condition sensitive the set is. The black borders made it very susceptible to chipping along the edges and the corners. So even PSA 7s are sometimes sort of considered high grade on the 71 Topps set. $177 current going rate for a PSA 7. Again, like that Winfield, look at the bargain. You can pick up this card, Hall of Fame rookie card, 50-year-old in a solid PSA 5 grade for just $36. Number 15, another rookie card from 1971, the rookie card of Steve Garvey, who has one of the more impressive careers for a player not in the Hall of Fame. It includes 10 All-Star games, 4 Gold Gloves, an MVP, a World Series, and other achievements. His 1971 Topps rookie in a PSA 7 currently goes for about $184. Again, bargains on the PSA 5 if you want to pick that one up. PSA 9s, if you look at it, $2,800. You'll see a lot of that sort of thing with the 1971s. PSA 9s going for really high just because PSA 10s usually have really low pop counts, 10 and under, sometimes pop counts of like 1, 2 even, and you can see a PSA 10 copy of this card goes for about 25 grand, or that was the last sale of one back in May of 2021. Number 14 was the biggest surprise for me in terms of a card landing in the top 20. I would not have guessed this card would have been anywhere near the top 20, and yet it was quite comfortably. It's a card of Rich Allen, or Dick Allen, who actually just made the Hall of Fame just a couple months ago as I post this video. You're looking at 3 of its cards there, 1970, 72, and 73 Topps. Funny, I guess Topps in 1972 couldn't find a good photo, so they just reused the one from 1970, but his most valuable card from the era is a 1971 Topps. It's in the high number series to begin with, but on top of that, it's also short printed, so it's an extremely tough card to get in high grade. Look, a PSA 7 is currently going for about $208, and there's actually never even been a sale of a PSA 9. It does not exist in a PSA 10. It's a Pop 0, and so obviously super tough card to get. You can see the all-time record sale is simply a PSA 8 going for about $800, but a PSA 9 today, who knows what that would fetch? Certainly, well into the many thousands. Number 13 is a card of Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks, one of the earliest members of the 500 home run club, and one of the greatest shortstops of all time. Although his cards there show him playing first base, but he played the majority of his career as a shortstop. Those two cards you're looking at are 1970 and 1971 Topps. The 1971 Topps on the right is in fact his last card in all the hobby, as these were, late in towards the end of his career. The 71 Topps is the more valuable of the two, with PSA 7s currently going for about $226. Number 12 is one of my favorite cards of all time and one of the greatest star power cards of all time. 1973 Topps, card number 1, Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, and Willie Mays. It'd be pretty hard to design a card with three better players than these three here, as all three of these guys would be in most experts' top 5 all-time players list. And at the time of the card, they ranked 1, 2, and 3 in career home runs, but today they still rank 2, 3, and 5. So all three of them are still in the top 5 all-time home run hitters, despite this being some 50 years later or so. The card in a PSA 7 sells for about $227 today. You have to go all the way back to 2015 to find the record sale of the card, which was a PSA 10 going for just short of 10 grand. Number 11, we're going to go back to 1971 and go back to rookie cards. This one of Ted Simmons, who just actually fairly recently made the Hall of Fame just a few years ago. Our second of 4 catchers who will appear on this list. 72, 73, and his 74 Topps are the 3 cards in the photo there. His 1971 Topps rookie has seen a tremendous growth recently, especially since he made the Hall of Fame sort of unexpectedly, like I said, a few years ago. PSA 7's going for $256 now. Number 10 is a cool card. It has a lot of things going for it, although it does not feature a Hall of Famer. I guess it's possible it will one day, but perhaps, probably not. But it's 1971 Topps, Dusty Baker and Don Baylor rookie. Baker and Baylor, both very significant players in baseball history, and Dusty Baker is still a very, very relevant manager today, and this is both of their rookie cards, and it's in the high number series, and it's a short print to boot. So like I said, a lot of things going for it. Tom Pasorek in the middle had a somewhat notable career, but again, it's really Baker and Baylor driving the value here. PSA 7 is currently going for about $259. The card does not exist in a PSA 10. It's a Pop 0, and in a PSA 9, it's just a Pop 9, so really, really tough card. I could see the all-time record sale of a PSA 9 was $4,500 back in 2016. I imagine if one was put up today, that record would be shattered, no problem. Number 9 is someone I definitely thought would be higher on the list, a card of Hammerin' Hank Aaron, who held the all-time home run record for some 30 years or so, and as I mentioned, still ranks second all-time today. He was a major staple of the 1970s, or at least the early 1970s, and you're looking at his 1970, 1972, and his 1974 Topps. The one on the right celebrating when he broke the all-time home run record, taking it from Babe Ruth at the time, and very, very cool moment in baseball history. Very, very cool card on that one. His most valuable card from the era, no surprise, is the 1971 Topps, with PSA 7s going for just under $300, and you can see, look at the price of PSA 10s. That'll cost you about 6 used Toyota Camrys to pick up one of those. Number 8 is the third of 4 catchers on the list. So if you're sort of guessing ahead of time, see if you can figure out who the final catcher remaining is. Number 8 is the great Johnny Bench, who some would say is the greatest catcher of all time. And, I definitely think he's certainly in the conversation, no matter what you think of it. His 1970 Topps on the left there, I would have guessed would have been his most valuable. That's actually his third-year card, and it's a semi-high number, so I would have thought that would have been the most valuable. But 72 in action in the middle, and his card on the right has a nice photo on his 1973 Topps. But his most valuable is, you guessed it, the 1971 Topps, with PSA 7s going for about $330. PSA 5 is going for about $62. Isn't that interesting? It's a 5 times multiplier to go from a PSA 5 to a PSA 7, but that's actually quite common for cards from this era and, the cards on this list. Number 7 is a card from Bench's teammate with the Big Red Machine, Pete Rose, who is still to this day the all-time career hits leader. That's pretty incredible to think, given that he retired some 35 years ago. 1970, 1972, and his 1974 Topps are in the photo there. And his most valuable is once again the 1971 Topps, with PSA 7s going for about $343. And you can see that multiplier is actually more extreme here. The PSA 7 selling for about 7 times the PSA 5. Number 6 is a card from Mr. October, Reggie Jackson, who got the nickname because he was super good in October when the playoffs and World Series were going on. 1970 All-Star on the left, 1972 in the middle, 1974 on the right, where he played for the Oakland A's. He also later played for the Yankees, the Angels, and actually 1 year with the Baltimore Orioles. The 1970 on the left is actually his second-year card. 1969 Topps is his rookie year. But his most valuable from the era is, once again, the 1971 Topps, with PSA 7s going for about $363. Look at the sale there of a PSA 9, 44 grand. That's because no PSA 10s exist. Number 5 is the Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays, all-time great player. 1970 on the left, 1972 in the middle, and 1973 on the right. That's actually his final card, the 73 Topps. You can see where he played his last season with the New York Mets after basically playing his entire career with the Giants. His most valuable is, you guessed it, 1971 Topps. This actually gets a boost because it's also in the semi-high number series, so a little rarer than other cards from the set. PSA 7 is currently going for about $482. We are now down to the final 4, and we have a pitcher, a catcher, an infielder, and an outfielder left if anyone's trying to guess ahead of time. Number 4 is the infielder, Mike Schmidt, arguably the greatest third baseman of all time. Played his entire career with the Phillies and is a member of the 500 home run club. The card you're looking at is 1974 Topps. It's actually his second year card, although it's also his first card where he's all by himself on the card. As his rookie card is 1973 Topps. It's a high number card on top of it being a Hall of Fame rookie card. It also features Ron Cey, who had a very relevant career, but it's actually not Ron Cey's rookie card. For he was on a card earlier. So this is really just Mike Schmidt driving all the value of the card here. PSA 7 is going for over $500, and look at the all-time record sale of a PSA 10. Back in February of 2021, a PSA 10 fetched close to $250,000. Number 3 is our final pitcher, Nolan Ryan, who going into this list I would have guessed Ryan would have finished number 1, but he lands here at the bronze medal at number 3. As 1971 Topps on the left, 72 Topps in the middle, and his 73 Topps on the right. His 1970 Topps is his most valuable. It's actually his third-year card as his rookie's from 1968, and it's actually only his second card where he appears alone as he shares his 68 Topps with another player. It's also in the high number series, which is tough in 1971. You can see card number 712. That number is that number is high, and it's in the high number series. Checks out. PSA 7 is going for about $572 today, and you can see a PSA 10 goes into 6 figures. Number 2 is our final catcher and one of the most iconic cards from the era. It's a card of Thurman Munson, one of the few players whose second-year card is more valuable than his rookie card. His rookie card there is on the left, shares it with Dave McDonald from 1970. He also looking at his 72 and his 74 Topps. Played his entire career with the Yankees, but was cut short tragically when he died in a plane crash around the age of 30, so he didn't have a very long career, obviously, and that's also kept him out of the Hall of Fame at least until now. His 1971 Topps, as I mentioned, one of the most iconic from the era. Very cool action shot. Comes with the Topps All Rookie trophy to boot. PSA 7s going for about $590, and no PSA 10s exist of this card. You can see PSA 9s go for well into 6 figures. And how about that PSA 5? Only $118. I'd say that's a nice bargain for that price. And our gold medal winner is another player who died tragically in a plane crash while still active. Roberto Clemente, all-time great for the Pittsburgh Pirates, 15-time All-Star, 12 Gold Gloves, 4 batting titles, an MVP, 2 World Series titles. He's in the Hall of Fame, a worthy recipient of our number 1 spot. His cards there, 1970, 72, and 73 Topps. The 73 Topps on the right is his final card in the hobby. His most valuable is appropriately the 1971 Topps, which is also a high number, so it gets the added boost of being particularly particularly rare or rarer than other cards from the set. PSA 7 is going for over $600. That's the most valuable card from 1970 to 1974, at least when you use PSA 7 values. So that's it, the top 20 most valuable baseball cards from the early 1970s. A couple of interesting list tidbits for anyone who likes tidbits. There was only one rookie card in the top 9. Don't know if anyone noticed that. There were 4 catchers versus only 3 pitchers. I thought that was strange. I would have guessed there would have been more pitchers, but 15 of the top 20 cards were from 1971. Talked about that a little bit, and there were 5 non-Hall of Famers on the list. I got a quick trivia question for anyone who wants it. Who is the only Hall of Famer to have a rookie card from the era that did not make this top 20 list? If you think you know the answer, leave it in the comments, and I will give it like 24 hours or so, and then, write back if you were correct or not. But thank you everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'm going to do a few more of these lists, go back a little bit, maybe into the 60s and into the 50s, or maybe even earlier, not sure yet. But hope you enjoyed, and see you all again real soon. Thanks, everyone.